This dude looks like Max, apparently.
Welcome everyone to Lunchbox TV review of Hawkeye episodes 1 and 2. I am Alex, and today I'm joined by Michelle.
Hello.
And Lou.
Malamutes.
That's right. And let's get to it, because there's a Malamute in this episode too. In this show. Is it a Malamute? It's something. It's a dog.
It's right? A Chihuahua.
We love dogs here. Well, okay. So it's Hawkeye, based on the not really too famous Marvel character, but beloved. He's in the Avengers, played by Jeremy Renner. He's joined by Hayley Steinfeld, and they're both in a duo sort of relationship, partnership, and kind of like a mentorship, but so far hasn't reached that level yet. Well, let's start with our initial thoughts. Spoiler free. What did you guys think?
I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I would. It is the most grounded out of all the MCU stuff we've had in a while. After like WandaVision and just like What If, and especially Eternal, that just kind of breaks your brain. It's good to have like a very grounded story of, like you were saying, just a mentorship between the two. And from like one of her first scenes, Hayley Steinfeld kind of stood out. She was very good as Kate Bishop, and I do like the story that's going on, but I guess Hayley Steinfeld was really good that I could just watch her perform as Kate Bishop throughout the series. So yeah, I really liked it.
I agree 100%. Exactly what Lou said. This is the most grounded story. I feel like this one feels like the most cookie cutter in a positive way superhero story. It's very familiar. It has a lot of the same mechanics, tropes, story like lines that we've seen in more of the more basic or like starter level Marvel stuff, which after all the shows, comparing show to show, this feels actually quite refreshing because none of the other shows were necessarily in that mold. So this one feels really good. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how festive it made me feel. It actually, I don't typically like Christmas very much, and it made me feel really happy and festive. And I actually really liked that. I wasn't sure how that was going to feel for me, but it feels good. It feels nice. I'm excited. It's nothing too crazy, and I'm here for a good time, and this will be my good time, I think.
Sorry, just to add to that a little bit, I think it's a kind of like the calm before the storm that will be Spider-Man No Way Home. So that's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, totally. I also enjoyed it. Like Lou said, or like what you said, it's grounded. It's more realistic. I do like my favorite parts override my least favorite parts. Like I enjoy seeing the fallout of like this huge superhero event in New York City, and just see how the humans react to it. Like Hawkeye's impairment. Kate Bishop, you know, the way it inspired her to become a superhero, you know, her own sort. And like even when Clint Barton is having dinner, he's getting calm because he's, you know, a savior. You know, people recognize him, that sort of deal, that he's a celebrity, a quasi-celebrity kind of thing. And like that's the sort of realism that I really enjoyed out of it. So let's talk overview. All right, the memory banks. It's usually stored for, you know, really weird Nintendo trivia, like really random stuff. Okay, let's see. So the very first episode begins in just before the Battle of New York, the siege or the invasion that Loki perpetrated with the Chitauri invasion, and we see Kate Bishop's home is just getting wrecked. Presumably her father perished in that attack, presumably, okay? Because don't forget, we got theories in this show, and there's you know, they're coming up. And so, right, and young Kate Bishop looks out her window. Who does she see? She sees Hawkeye, doing a superhero thing, looking cool, saving lives, saving Kate herself. And so presumably that's what inspired her to become an archer. Thankfully, she didn't see Thor instead, and was inspired to become a god, because that could have been tricky. And so we skip ahead years later. She is in some sort of prep school, but it's not a high school. She's like in a university, I suppose. And
a fancy
prank,
one.
A fancy, yeah, a really fancy one. And as a prank, it's just a prank, bro. She rings this old watchtowery bell, this bell tower, and I want to say it's not her fault. It's more lack of upkeep from the universities. Even though they have wealthy backers, they just didn't maintain this bell tower, and the bell tower collapses. And so she goes home for Christmas season, and her mother, who is played by the very talented Vera Farmiga, who I just have to look at her name because I said it right, Michelle? I know you're a big fan. Yeah. Okay. So she's in the Conjuring movies. She's and The Orphan, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's the mother in that.
She's good.
Right? She's good. She's good. Yeah. And a lot of dark movies. Anyways, so Kate finds out that she's dating her mother, that is dating Jack Duquesne. I think that's how you pronounce his name. This really sketchy mustachioed dude. Don't trust dudes with mustaches. Skip over. Oh no, sorry. Except for Max. Max, congratulations.
This is for you, Max.
Max, congrats. We love your mustache.
Except you should have a beard, but I think that's gone. I just realized. So breaking the fourth wall.
Put a picture of him right here. There you go. Don't trust this guy.
Sorry. Hey, I've had a mustache before. It's all good. Usually in a movie, it's like, he's
and it's twirly too.
Yeah, it's a twirl. Well, so's Max's.
Is it? Oh no, it is. Yeah. Sorry again, Max.
This dude looks like Max apparently.
And his new haircut. I'm gonna post this one of just like the quick thing for Max.
There you go. Sorry, Max.
Max's
For our
face
number
flashing.
one
Oh, we're sorry, Max. We love you.
Sorry.
Thanks for commenting on everything. Let us shit on it.
Yeah. We're giving the fans a spotlight today. All right. Okay. So and Kate Bishop does not support this relationship because I suppose he's a skeevy dude, but that's to be revealed a little later. Skip over across town to Broadway, and there is the Rogers musical based on Steve Rogers and based on the Shatari invasion. And Clint Barton is in the crowd with his 3 kids, one of which is gigantic, like towers over Clint himself. That was pretty fun to see. I'm like, whoa, is that one of the... But I did like seeing that they didn't recast, because it's like, well, the kids got huge, that's what are you gonna do? Sometimes, they tower over their fathers. And so Clint was sort of, well, he wasn't having a panic attack, but he just, I guess he wasn't feeling it, and he left because he saw like the person that played Natasha, and Natasha, of course, passed away during the whole Endgame Infinity War Thanos debacle. And he took some time off, time away from the play, just to recover. And him and his kids are having a great old time in New York for the holidays. And so we switch back to where Kate is, and there is a charity dinner party with a bunch of wealthy people, and her mother, Eleanor Bishop, kind of didn't put her up to it, but like she's she's working for her mom, doing that, serving and being a part of the waiting staff. And there's another skeevy dude who's called Armand the Third. Apparently there's there's 8 of these Armands, and right, he's really weird. He basically spills the beans that Kate's mother is gonna marry the Jack Duquesne,
Max,
and
apparently.
yeah, Max. is Max the first, the second, or third, or is there a Max lineage?
No, the first of his name.
First of his name. And so there's a black market deal happening with these wealthy people around the basement, and Kate winds up there. And what do they sell? Triceratops skull and a Ronin costume, like Ronin, who Hawkeye dressed up as during the whole blip snap phase that Earth had. He was just going around killing mafiosos and just evil people. So an attack happens, and there's a Ronin outfit, the Ronin sword. An attack happens. The strike. What are they called? The
tracksuit mafia.
Tracksuit mafia.
Bro.
There's a reason I wore those. Bro. So they're looking to steal an artifact. Apparently, it's a watch. Okay, we got our theories about that. That's coming up, and so right, the Ronin equipment the outfit is taken by Kate, who puts it on because she can't be spotted, I guess, beating people up. Okay. And right, so she kind of, I don't even know if she saves people. She doesn't really do anything. She just beats up a few people. And Jack actually makes it out with the sword, the retractable Ronin sword, really neat thing. And we skip ahead. Kate saves this dog, breed of which I will not mention. And she saves the dog because the dog was tussling with one of the bad guys, and the tracksuit wearing bad guys. I assume it has something to do with that Avengers watch, whatever. And right, so this pizza dog has got one eye missing, and Hawkeye, Clint Barton, sees on the television that Ronin's back. He springs into action. He's like, hey, who could this person be? Comes across Kate Bishop, who goes into Armand III's home. I guess to snoop around to see what's going on, because she's really snoopy in the show, like extremely nosy since she was a kid. So at least she keeps that up. And Armand has been stabbed. He's been gutted. We assume it's with a sword. And she leaves, meets with Hawkeye. Hawkeye saves her. They go to her apartment, and the tracksuit people follow them there, attack the apartment. They leave. She goes to her aunt's apartment, and the whole ordeal. But basically, Clint wants that suit back, just to to get rid of it or to deal with that, because there's a lot of trouble. There's a lot of he made a lot of enemies with that outfit, and since Kate put it on, I guess she took on those enemies as well, because I guess it's her I don't know, her identity now, part of her identity. So yeah, this is a really long synopsis, guys. I gotta go faster. Okay, when the tracksuit people attack her apartment through Molotov, they leave the Ronin suit there. Clint has to come back for it. Shenanigans happen. A firefighter took it to wear his like LARPer thing, the cosplay stuff, and he has to clink clank fight the LARPer. He has to take a dive, pretend he loses. That happens. He gets the suit back. He seemingly parts ways with Kate Bishop. But he still has to resolve the whole deal with the tracksuit mafia, and that involves Clint himself getting captured by them. It happens. He's tied up in a warehouse by these sketchy dudes, and Kate is like the NSA or something, because she was able to track down.
Her mom works for a security company, so she has like clearance to things she really should not have. So she just like tracks his phone.
Yeah, exactly. So whoa. And she winds up in the warehouse too, kind of flops down, falls in front of them. They're both tied up, and and this is the second episode, and that ends with a look at their boss, who is
Echo.
I forgot her name. Maya. No, hold on. It's not just Echo. It's Maya something. Forgot her real name. Okay, well, it's not here on IMDb. She is. Come on, where's her name? But it's Echo. It's a comic book character called Echo. Flame of Daredevil.
Maya Alaqua or something like that. I
Yeah,
probably
something.
Butchered it, so yeah, I apologize. But yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, it ends up being Echo, and that's where it cuts. Whew. All right, guys. While I chug this water, tell me what you liked, please.
I guess we can do the pass the ball around thing. Again, I already mentioned it earlier, but they really did a good job of introducing Hayley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. I really love the scene where, like during the Chitauri invasion, it takes us back to that. It's like it's good to see things that happen from other perspectives, like when Monica reappeared from the snap in the hospital in WandaVision. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So the introduction, Kate, was you also mentioned it, that what she was as a kid, she kind of keeps it up as an adult, and they did a really good job of just keeping her kind of personality in there. So yeah, that's one of the things that I like.
The next thing I like, oh boy, I like the general tone of the whole, like, all the episodes so far, because they're fun. Like, they're not, I don't want to say silly, the word isn't necessarily silly, but Clint as a character, like, I feel like people have not taken him seriously compared to the other Avengers, like thought a little bit less of him. And I feel like this gives a better picture of who he is as a character, besides like that one scene in, I can't remember which movie it was, where like they realize he has a family and now he's a family man and that's his character trait. I feel like they're doing a really good job of actually establishing that part of his character now, especially with the full introduction of his family and wanting to spend time with them for Christmas and just the interactions with his kids. I thought it really established like why this character is the way he is and how he operates in the world. It makes more sense. So I think that's really awesome. And for me, it also makes it a little bit easier to wrap my head around this story being very like human and not super powered, because in every other show we've seen, there's been superpowers. Even if like Sam Wilson doesn't have powers, Bucky's there doing his thing, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And this is not a superpower. Like the heroes of the story do not have special powers, special abilities. They're really good at what they do, but it's not like superhuman goodness. And I like that they're making that really clear.
Yeah. I guess when we started this, I already mentioned what I like, that it's grounded, like just seeing the fallout of all like the superhero antics and like how it affects the real people. But I will say that I do like how all the adults except for Clint, they all seem sketchy. Like I don't trust a single one of them. And it works well, like the dichotomy with Katie Bishop, who's like just like growing, finding her own identity, and like her inspiration is like right in front of her, and like he's nothing at all like the people she grew up with, you know, wealthy and just like looking down on everyone. Like, do you remember what's his name, Armand the Third? Like zero chill with that guy, just like absolutely no filter. And it made me think, like, wow, could you imagine living your life like that, like not really caring, and like I'm over here lower class and like I'm careful with what I say to people, like with my neighbors, so I don't piss them off. And meanwhile, he's just, you know, whatever. So I do enjoy the way they're portraying all the characters.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to add with Clint is that I think he's in his element now. Everything we've all seen him is just like, there's no way he could kill that or defeat this, but because of like the people around him, you know, it happens. They win. But like we were talking about, this is very grounded, and this is more his element, like a spy thing. Like he's the Bourne Legacy, which he was in, so it's more, it's a more believable Clint that you're like, all right, he's gonna survive it. He's a lot better than most of these tracksuit mafia. So this is where he could shine as both as a mentor and as a superhero.
I find it interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I find it really interesting the placing of her age at 22 years old. I think that's a really kind of in the middle for what we've seen of a lot of characters, because we either see like in the mentor-mentee relationship younger, because Peter Parker is distinctly younger than 22. He's in high school, right?
Yeah, he was like 16.
Yeah, and then we see most of our heroes either with no specific age mentioned that I can think of, but like presenting older. So I find her falling within 22 gives it a really interesting feel, because she's not an adult, but she's not she's an adult, a young adult, not a child, but she still has that kind of in between tendencies where she can be really like mature in a conversation and also at the same time not be. And it works really well for her character and kind of the relationships that she's building. And I think Alex pointed out something interesting about like how sketchy the adults are, because, and this could just be me, but when I hit my 20s, I became very aware of how flawed the adults in life are. Just as a young person, you think, oh wow, adults are like, they got it handled, they know what's up, like there's that like level of respect that they automatically get. But I feel like when you hit your 20s, you actually start to question that, of be like, wait, they're humans, like I'm not that far off from them, they're also flawed, they also have mistakes. And I feel like that could be an interesting piece that her character is kind of witnessing. I don't know, like if that's kind of where her growth goes, I'd be thrilled to see that storyline. But I think it's really interesting that she's placed specifically at 22.
Like, it made me feel old again. Like of the many things that make me feel old on a daily basis, this was yet another one. Like, oh yeah, she was at the Chitauri invasion, and then whoop, oh, she's an adult. Oh,
It was like she's 22. I'm like, oh man, I could be a father.
Yeah, and like I'm literally the exact same person that I was the year that movie came out. So yeah, all right, sure, okay, let's do that. Just do that to old Alex here. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is things we liked. Okay. I did like the musical. That was pretty funny. The whole Rogers. It was goofy, you know, as it should be, and yeah, it gave me a chuckle.
And lastly,
can I add on to that? Sorry,
go
before
ahead.
Go, Lou. I just want to, because he specifically mentioned the musical. I thought the way they handled Clint and Natasha's relationship was great. I didn't want to see too much lingering and sadness, because we've seen that kind of like dealing with grief storyline already, specifically with like Spider-Man and Iron Man and all of that. So it was really nice that there was still like that moment of like how much she means to you, this and that, and he's able to move forward, and it's not just like something that's kind of weighing down his character constantly. There's like the occasional mention, like when he decides to get captured by the mafia, there's a conversation between him and his wife where he's like, I'm gonna do a catch and release, and then his wife's like, oh, like that's one of Nat's old moves. And that was like a nice moment where it's like a little comment of, yeah, she still influenced me, but I'm not like bogged down as a character, I'm kind of moving forward through that. And I thought that was really awesome. Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, no, I was actually gonna just mention something about that too. I like that Clint's PTSD is just different, which is it should be, because not everybody has like John Walker type PTSD. So I like how he handled it, and it's not supposed to be the same. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add to that.
Is there anything else we liked?
I like the dog. I like Pete the dog. He's cute.
It was really cute.
He's so cute.
I wonder if that's like a special effects thing they did, or like if he's.
I think it is. I think it is, because I think there was an article about how the director made it look like the eye was closed.
Okay.
So I think it's a special effects thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Let's talk didn't like. Let's get real negative here. Go ahead. Who wants to start?
Honestly, there wasn't a lot of things that I disliked in this movie. One is kind of some of the convenience of some things. Like we already mentioned it earlier. Like, oh, so I can track anybody. It's like, really that easy, huh? And the other thing that I just didn't like is maybe just for now, but the villains are way too obvious. we can spot them a mile away. Like, yeah, he's not gonna be a good guy. And the mom's like, something's up with his mom. And yeah, so they were too obvious to me, but it didn't. I think Alex mentioned earlier where it didn't kind of mess up what I liked about the whole thing. So yeah, that is it for me.
I have a really weird one probably, but I feel like I got a little bit faked out in the beginning sequence because there's this moment where when Kate's young during the invasion where she has a conversation with her mom and they're about to play checkers or whatever, and the mom's like, she says something to the effect of like, moms are cool too, or something, like trying to build this relationship with her because Kate has a better relationship with her father. So that happens and I'm like, okay, father dies, fast forward, we had this whole like kind of credit or little sequence where we see like the little animated bits of Kate winning awards and whatever that is, and her mom is a character in that, kind of supporting her through it. So it faked me out to think that this would actually be a story of a functional mother-daughter relationship for the first time that I can think of in Marvel Universe. And that was not the case. And I was so disappointed, especially because Vera Farmiga is the mother. I love her. I wanted to see her being a loving, caring character because I don't know, I want that from her. So that was a little bit just I felt faked out. I'm not mad at it now that I've dealt with it, but it would have been really refreshing to see something like that because I can't think of that in, the Marvel universe at all. Moms don't really, I don't know. Moms in Marvel are like moms in Disney. They're dead or gone.
Well, it's because women are evil, right? It's just part of the
That's
reality.
what we learned from watching Black Widow. According to Black Widow, women are disposable.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Except for Clint's wife. She's just a really wonderful person.
Yeah. That's
good for her though. She's a good mother.
That's the exception.
Yeah, the exception. I gotta say, guys, I did not like the action. Like
actually, yeah.
The choreography wasn't anything special or spectacular. Like Falcon Winter Soldier blew it out of the water. Like the hand to hand. Again, this is coming off that one show, Falcon Winter Soldier, and also we just saw Shang-Chi. and like if you're gonna give me like hand to hand stuff, you got to give me more. Like Hayley Steinfeld, she's a smaller lady, right? Like one punch should drop her. And like I'm a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and like there's a reason why she could beat the crap out of everyone because like she's the
Slayer.
She's a Slayer.
Right, she's a Slayer. Yeah. So I thought there was another word for it, but I guess it's just a Slayer.
The Chosen One. Was it called The Chosen One?
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Buffy is my favorite show.
I love that show when it first came out. So like it makes sense. Like if if you're small but you're imbued with power, okay, sure. But like she's like just taking full on gut punches from these like 6'5" guys, and I say whoo, like she's full from Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, right? And so it was there was that aside, whatever, the disbelief factor. But yeah, overall it wasn't anything special. In the choreography. I hope it does get better in upcoming episodes. Yeah.
Okay. I'll say something else. And this is probably me being dumb, which I feel like has actually come up a bunch in our videos recently. So like I don't know what's going on for me. But it took me a hot minute to remember who the heck Ronan was because I was picturing the wrong Ronan.
Oh.
like that doesn't check out.
Yeah. Oh, you must have been thinking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Ronan.
Yeah, and I was like, why is his suit here? I don't remember him having a sword. What is this? What?
Oh.
And then when Hawkeye like saw and he reacted, I was like, oh, duh, that makes sense. But I don't know if the name Ronan in that moment of like that's who Hawkeye was didn't click for me because in my mind it was just evil Hawkeye. It was just Hawkeye doing bad stuff. He didn't have this separate persona that really stuck in my mind. And I didn't recognize the outfit honestly because it wasn't the most iconic part truly. So that I was a little bit thrown for a moment. And then once I realized, okay, that totally makes sense why he's behaving this way and why it's all happening. Just when they're like the Ronin suit, I was like, oh, what? Didn't
Ronin's here?
Yeah, I was like, that's been a while since he like hello? I just didn't get it. So that was just me being dumb, but I did not like that part wasn't necessarily like as spoon fed as it could have been. Also, how is his sword only going for $200,000? I feel like it should have been that. That's a really awesome retractable sword. Because like the starting bid for the fossil was like 2 million, and then the sword's of 200,000. Like I feel
my
like
question was how did
better.
they get that? Like where did they get it? The rubble? Like I don't know.
Apparently.
I want to say like the same way that the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming was able to get all that technology in New York, like probably some independent contractors or whatever, they just started cleaning up the rubble, and yeah, stuff like that happened. But yeah, the Ronin costume does sort of look like Kick-Ass, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it reminds me of I don't know how well I guess he is like roughly the same height as Katie is. Like they're both sort of roughly like
the hood was just a little wonky on her.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
I don't know, Michelle, is there anything else? Like I mean like for me, I think like my favorite moments were really just the way the movie universe impacted real people, and like I wish there was more of that. Like maybe if Katie went to see a psychiatrist after that, because like it seemed at the funeral she's like, oh, I'm gonna be a superhero, instead of like, oh, I need to deal with the loss of my father. But you never know, it might come into play later. Like she might not be over that. So yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna go into a little bit of not conspiracies, of guesses what's gonna happen. I don't think she's dealt with it, so she's gonna displace all her feelings for her father onto Clint, and that's gonna be something they have to deal with.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go. Okay, so since you opened the door of predictions, our favorite part of like when a show starts, predictions.
Let's get it wrong. Woo!
Do you have any? Yeah, let's get them wrong.
I don't have a lot, but I think this one is obvious because I've read some stuff like in comics that eventually Echo will be wearing the Ronin suit. So I don't think that's a surprise because it does happen. So yeah, I don't know. I think somebody has something with the watch. I have no clue about the watch.
I got a guess for that watch. I think I think they're interested in that time travel technology.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because they were using watches for the whole.
You're right. I didn't even think of that.
The time heist.
Yeah, the time heist, and I'm pretty sure it's tucked into Pizza Dog's collar because like he's got something flipping out of that collar.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's like wedged right in there, like the face of it, and yeah, they'll come across it soon enough.
Interesting. All right, I didn't think of that at all.
That's my first prediction.
We're all wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me for now at least.
I'm also gonna say I know Runaways is a show where like parents are villains and like they do like villainous stuff.
I really
think they're gonna I think they're gonna roll that concept into this, because I think they're gonna move towards the Young Avengers thing, and like that's kind of a cool concept. Yeah, that's like parents are like the secret villains, and I do think that Katie's mom is like it's not obvious. Like all signs point towards Twirly Mustache Man, not Max, and like that's just too obvious. So I'm thinking it's like, okay, it was probably the mom that did it at this point, and she's just trying to keep the peace because of that, because she knows she did all these bad things, and yeah, I do think I don't know if it's a Hydra thing or what, but yeah, I think she's gonna turn out to be a villain, maybe the villain on the show. I don't know, but yeah,
I think you're onto something actually.
Yeah, my predictions along those veins, and specifically like the fact that she runs a security company, it doesn't seem like a good person. I don't know. You're gonna use that technology for evil. So I think there's something there perhaps. Yeah, especially with the fact that Kate feels so entitled to just use this technology whenever she feels willy-nilly. She gets that from somewhere. So I feel like her mom's probably doing something to the same effect of maybe like selling people's information. I don't know. There's technology badness happening. That's my prediction.
I already think that her mom had Armand killed. So there's that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Anything? Do you think we'll be seeing Yelena in this show?
Well,
at the end, maybe. Do you think Hawkeye's gonna bite it at her hand?
Actually, that was a crazy kind of theory that I was just thinking about like earlier. Hawkeye could die in this series, and that's
I'm going to take a hard stance and a really hopeful stance that he is not going to die.
Okay.
How are you going to do this lovely Christmas family story and then kill him? That's crazy. And I don't think they're there yet. Like that's a lot. It's also, I mean, they arguably did something similar to Iron Man. He had this lovely daughter, love you 3000, and then killed him. But I don't think they'd have him. I hope he doesn't die at her hands, because she's a fan favorite. By the end of this season, I'm sure he's going to be a fan favorite. People are going to feel very like attached to him. Like, you know, who doesn't like the Family Man story? Everybody wants a dad like that who wants to be around and whatever. Like, I don't know. That seems mean. That's just bullying the audience at this point.
It would damper this like kind of a good-hearted series if they did that. So yeah,
that'd be heavy for this series, especially because WandaVision already dealt like very heavily with grief and the loss of humans. I feel like ending this one, just no. That would be too much. I just want to see a nice family succeed. That's what I want.
Don't forget Clint's last words to his daughter. You're really in charge. You know, those are like lasting words. You know, like I don't know. I have to rewatch that scene.
Stop it. Let my boy Clint win.
You always take care of the boys.
I know. I love Clint. Yeah, I hope he does not die. Yeah, like I'd really want, as an Avenger, he just like retires with his family and like that's it. Yeah, because you know, I guess like Jeremy Renner, like he's gonna wrap it up, but yeah, hopefully not in death.
I want Old Man Hawkeye for when Old Man Logan eventually shows up, and I want that series.
Oh my God, I love it.
That's right.
Just two old curmudgeons being grumpy, and I would be so happy.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk final thoughts. All right, final thought. It up.
Good series. I really like it. It's just grounded and it's easy to follow, and should be a fun series, which is like just done in 4 more episodes. So it's a short one, but it should be good.
Yeah, I second that. I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't think it's gonna go, you know, so crazy as we've seen with some of the other shows. I think it's gonna remain a grounded story. That's my hope for it, at least. And I think it's a very nice, I don't want to say palate cleanser because that sounds negative to the things that have come before, but just like it's a nice refresh before we go into Spider-Man, before we go into a little bit like bigger, otherworldly type of things. I'm excited to just have this to keep us grounded until that time.
Yeah, this really does seem to be putting a bow on like the first 3 Avengers trilogy movies, you know, like oh, this is the last part of it, because like they've dealt with most of the other characters, like you know what I mean, in like a concise way. Hulk's still out there and Thor's still out there doing their thing, but everyone else, you know, part of the original roster, their stories have come to an end. Hopefully it's not in death. Hawkeye, please survive. We want to see more. Although there is someone willing to take over the mantle, so yeah, I'll stop talking. Okay, I'll stop. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex. I've been joined by Lou and Michelle. And follow us on the socials and subscribe, because we have a prize. 1,000 subscribers, comment and stuff, you know. maybe the Malamute fan. You might win a Daredevil.
He might win.
You're entered in the contest, buddy. You're entered, whether you like it or not. We should send you a dog, but no dogs. All right. So join us on the next one. Thank you, and Max, I love your mustache. Goodbye.